Hello, my name is Paul Gannon, and I'm making yet another Ghostbusters themed video. Sorry, but there are two very good reasons. One is that when this video is released, it will be the anniversary of Ghostbusters by Ray Parker Jr. reaching #1 in the Hot Billboard 100 charts. So that's exciting, isn't it? I thought we'd celebrate that a little bit. And the second is I'm writing a book, and I'm trying to publish it through Unbound, but I need backers to help me raise the funds for that. So if you want to hear more about that, there is a link that I'll put on the end of this video about this book and what I'm trying to do with it, which is basically based on my solo show from about 2012, 2013, when after a massive mental breakdown, I decided to heal myself by going ghost hunting. And although that was a strange decision to make, it led me on a massive, weird adventure. So the book's going to be about all of that, and it's also going to be about Ghostbusters, the franchise, fandom, paranormal TV, reality TV, paranormal tourism, and all the strange and unusual things I got up to. So they're the two reasons for making this video. But what's the content going to be? Well, this is just a dirty one-take kind of go, so I'm going to cram in what I can in about 10 minutes. So here we go. First things first, in the PO box for Cheap Show, which is why I'm putting this on my solo channel, not on Cheap Show, because that channel's getting swamped with Ghostbusters stuff. Someone was very kind enough to send me these Ghostbusters Topps trading cards. Now, I've got a set of these somewhere else, just one set. Oh, that Stuart gave me when we did Bartians. I got 3, and I thought I'd open these up. Now, I'm not like Stuart, who has a stomach cast of iron. So I just want to open these for the cards. I will not be attempting to eat the gum. Don't know why people like that. So let's find out what's in this first pack. Ghostbusters 2, my feelings on it. You know, I like the franchise, I like the characters, it's nice to revisit. But as a sequel, it is poor. Basically, it's just a rehash of the first one, almost beat for beat. And that's what my major problem is with it, really. I remember coming out of the cinema feeling deeply underwhelmed at the age of 11. Right, here we go. Here's our first card. Oh, the gum's in surprisingly good condition. I thought it'd be covered in spores, moulds, and fungus. Oh, there's a little bit there on the edge. Just a little bit. Oh, that's shattered into 1,000 pieces. Right, so let's have a look at what cards we've got. Oh, we've got a fair few. The Monstrous Mink. That's when the coat comes to life. I believe that was a hangover gag from the first film they couldn't get in and decided to put it in 2, I believe. What else? Oh, this one's nice. Restaurant Crashers, which was the prequel to Wedding Crashers, a film from the early 2000s. What does it say on the back? Much to the horror of the confused patrons and restaurant personnel, the slime-covered Ghostbusters charge into place in search of Dr. Venkman. This is an emergency, cries Ray. The whole city is in danger. Nice. Next. Vigo's Master Plan. With Pete McNichol there playing Vigo. One of the actual bright sparks of the movie, even though effectively he is Lewis Tully again. Vigo's Master Plan. Janosch is quite fond of the plan, especially as it will give him access to data. Data? That's Star Trek. Dana as a reward for his services. Woman as prized objects. The biggest problem with Dana in those 2 films. Not much of a character. Basically a trophy. Oh, there's the Scoleri brothers. Oh, that's nice. What's it say? Widescreen SFX shot. A courtroom in chaos. I do like that bit. That's probably the only effective scene in the film. When all the chairs bounce and it's quite a nice little ghost capture. You notice how little ghost busting there is in those films, by the way, especially the first 2. You have your big set piece one, Slimer Scoleri brothers, and then you have the whole thing at the end. Most of it is montage. Get into the teeth of it. Oh, a nice little. Is this a sticker? It's a Scoleri brother. It's nice. Merry Christmas, New York. Yes, Ghostbusters 2 is effectively a Christmas film, despite being released in July. But there you go. Or it's a New Year's movie. If you time it right, you can get the countdown for the finale of Ghostbusters 2, the New Year's countdown, to match up with real time. But if you want to do that, go for it. It's a lot of bother. Janosch, what a drip. He is drippings with goo. At the end. Nice. Next. TV commercial part 4. Oh, they've broken the commercial up. If you get the Blu-ray, by the way, or the 4K Blu-ray, which is only apparently sold in North America, there is the original Ghostbusters 2 advert, which is funny. Very funny and very purposely poorly directed. And in the movie, the final cut of it doesn't really work. And when we did Ghostbusters Fan Fest, last year, when it happened and I went, they showed that whole scene for the first time. And everyone laughed and responded really favourably to it. And I think Ivan Reitman came back saying, why did I cut that version out of the movie? But he was saying at the time, when you're in the midst of it, it's hard to judge a film with that distance that you get from hindsight. So he probably would have put it in. It's a nice little scene. One of the few scenes from Ghostbusters 2 excised for no real reason, like all the Slimer and chasing Tully stuff. That's right, Ghostbusters, says Dan Aykroyd. We're back, we're better than ever with twice the know-how and twice the particle power to deal with your supernatural elimination needs. Strange card. Next, artwork, Slimer. Artwork, Slimer. Rascally Phantasm, elevated to star status due to the cartoon series. One of the reasons why, by the time of 89, Slimer and the Real Ghostbusters was the name of the cartoon show, because it was audience focused, tested, and all that kind of shit by executives who wanted, for example, Janine to be more the mother figure than the hard-ass character she was in the film and the cartoons. So, boardroom members know what creativity is, don't they? Next pack of cards. Let's get through these. You never know, we might get some more. Oh, what's this? The new Ghostbuster. SFX wide shot. There's one of the scenes that, mentioned briefly in the montage, but ultimately cut out with Lewis and Slimer chasing each other like silly beggars. Next. What is it, honey? It's that damn ghost again. I don't know what to do anymore. So that's more from the advert again. So there we go. Which again, this is very similar to a scene that was used as the advert in Ghostbusters 2 for this, but was actually a scene cut from Ghostbusters 1 in the hotel room where there's an arguing couple who are quite unpleasant characters and the alarm clock smashes and then one of them sees Slimer. Cut to the phone call, the alarm and the first bust. So again, getting their money's worth out of unused ideas from the first film. Scoleri Brothers 2. Artwork. Nice. Next, the Titanic has arrived. Better late than never. I don't know how a ship gets to be a ghost, but the patrons of that ship did. Oh, is this a sticker? No, it's a weirdly nice, on the back there's a poster to make up, and on the front there is the slime blower, grey suit look, which I really liked. Unfortunately, in my opinion, the Ghostbusters 2's greatest achievement is giving them slightly different equipment and a new jumpsuit. Rick Moranis is Louis. Excellent. Boxed in. They've caught the Scoleri brother. He's in the trap, ready to go, fast and they be slow, etc. Dana Wowsum. This is a pretty picture of Dana. And she's wowing them. It's New Year's Eve and Dana Barrett is dressed to kill. Even Peter rises to the occasion, looking rather dapper as they get ready for a night on the town. Party's over. Right, final pack. This is only meant to be a short video. I didn't think it was going to take this long. Right. Here we go. Oh, I guess that's another part of the poster you can build with the artwork of Slimer, which became quite synonymous with the branding and merchandising as the years have gone by. So that's been getting some bloody FaceTime, that image. Right, what have we got? Merry Christmas, New York. We've seen that. Nice. Janosch, what a drip. Yeah, Dan Aykroyd, Slimer artwork. Oh, the confrontation. Here's a new one. There you go. Again, underwhelming finale. So I'm not going to rip on Ghostbusters 2 the whole way through. There is some nice parts, but I generally feel the best part of that film is the first 40-odd minutes, and then after the court case scene, it all just becomes Ghostbusters 1.5. Oh dear. Tully's big chance. But all of a sudden, she can't be attracted to Egon. She has to have love with Louis because, I don't know, was that a thing that happened in the cartoon series? Louis wasn't a big presence in that series until much later on down the line. Bizarre revelation. When it looks like, oh look, the Ghostbusters are in the painting behind the painting, and it's just, how quick, cute. Again, not just using this video to slam off Ghostbusters 2. I do love the logo for Ghostbusters 2. Filming the subway interior. Oh, that's a nice shot. That is just a kind of behind the scenes shot, and something I would like to have seen more of in these packs, but I don't know how many there were. This is 84. Don't know how many there were. That was fun. Part 2 of the video. I like Topps cards. If you do have them, send them to the post office box. Oh, that's what it's called, post office box. That's what PO means. Oh, good. Right. So, Ray Parker Jr. released Ghostbusters in June, around the release of the film in 84. A couple of weeks later, August 11th, it reaches number 1, and it stays there for 3 weeks, drops down a bit. Something happens. I think Purple Rain gets to number 1, and then that drops down, and Ghostbusters goes back to number 1. It's an interesting song, Ghostbusters, because Famously, we know about the story where it was maybe stolen from Huey Lewis and the News. If you listen to the track by Huey Lewis and the News, which is called I Need a New Drug or I Want a New Drug, the riff to both of those songs are exactly the same. The rumour is, the story is that Columbia brought Huey Lewis and the News in to make a theme song, and they presented this, or they presented the back catalogue, and they said, can it sound like this? And it didn't work out. And then the next thing you know, Ray Parker Jr. releases Ghostbusters, and it sounds very similar to the Huey Lewis and the News song that was dismissed. Now, there was a court case. Apparently, there was a court case where it was agreed that there would be a payout to Huey Lewis and the News for this, as long as they didn't mention it in the press. Then a few years later, in the 90s, they talk about it on VH1. So Ray Parker Jr. countersued and won, I believe, although it was settled out of court. So, you know, ultimately, a lot of people fussing over what was ultimately, I'm going to hate saying this out loud, not the best song, but it is iconic. You can't really dance to Ghostbusters. When it comes on in nightclubs, it kind of stops the dancing. But it's got some great riffs in it, and obviously that bit's excellent. Used brilliantly in the 2016 Ghostbusters movie for when Holtzman rips all those ghosts a new one in Times Square, when they actually folded the theme tune into the score, and it works like gangbusters. Hopefully they'll keep with that with Afterlife, which would have been out by now, but it's not because of virus. Right, so I had to take a little break then because I realised I was sweating profusely and decided not to look like a weird, slimy Ghostbusters fan on my video. Still a bit sheedy, but let's crack on because it's hot as balls and I've got to turn the fan off. Anyway, you don't need to know any of this. Let's crack on with the soundtrack albums. So, Ghostbusters, yay, got to number 1. Let's have a look at the soundtrack albums. Now, before we go any further, I do have a question. Two questions. One, there was a very early Ghostbusters trailer, and in that trailer there is a song called Ghostbusters, right? I don't know if anyone knows who made that song, if there's a full version of it anywhere online. I know there are snippets of it on the internet if you look for the original trailer. I'd like to know more about that. Comment your comments in the comments below. Sorry about that, stealing from Joe Blow. Right. Question 2. Ghostbusters releases a single. This is a 12-inch version. Lovely, pretty thing. There's the shot of them all going down Times Square, doing the old dance that they used in the cartoon series. My question is this. The line, searching for the spirit. Why was that? Why was it called Ghostbusters Searching for the Spirit? This is something that I seemingly only really came to grips with recently, when I, funnily enough, got this. I know there've been a few singles, but I'd never really taken notice of the Searching for the Spirit segment. I don't know if that's a particular mix of it. I do know every now and then they remaster it. So the Ghostbusters version, the original Ghostbusters song that came out in the 2016 album, was slightly different. I can't quite tell you how. It just sounds a little different. I wonder if this is the same thing. Searching for the Spirit was a slightly different version, 12-inch version of the original single. Because the original 12-inch single does have all the sound effects at the end and the Ecto-1 siren going off and things like that. If you know, comment below. I'm not making that a catchphrase. So let's start off with the original soundtrack. On Arista, Columbia, it was Arista Records. There we go. And again, you got to love that logo. Artwork on the back. Great image, great piece of artwork. Noticeably missing Winston, as most merch during the time did. So let's have a look at the soundtrack album. Ghostbusters on there, obviously we all know that. We spoke about that. That's dealt with. Probably my favourite. I'm just going to go through these tracks very, very quickly and give you... Very quickly and give you my feelings upon them. So, Cleaning Up the Town. Love it. Bus Boys. You know? Boys are back in town for 48 hours. I love that kind of boogie-woogie, big bandy thing. So I used to play that a lot, loud, when I was a kid. Miming the piano bits, like Rowan Atkinson's infamous sketch. Saving the Day by Alessi. Love that track. This is the interesting thing about this compared to the following soundtracks, is that the music in this soundtrack does seem to be more embedded into our memory of the film. We all remember Saving the Day when that kicks off. We all remember all the sirens and the army and let's run the red lights and all that stuff. It's a nice little bit of 80s pop. It's got that weird spooky feel to it almost. If you ever see YouTube videos of them live performing it with the video in the background, it's worth it. It's a lot of fun. In the Name of Love by Thompson Twins. Fine track. It's Thompson Twins. This must have been one of the big breaks they had in America at the time. In the Name of Love, yeah, so I don't know. It's fine. I Can Wait Forever by Air Supply. So, This is one of those songs where I remember hearing it on the soundtrack and going, oh, it's a ballad, who likes it? And then watching the film and then realising the song wasn't in the film. Until years and years later, after numerous rewatches, I found out where that song appears. And that song was crowbarred in the scene where they get kicked out of university. And there's a guy moving equipment out wearing headphones and a Walkman. And he's very faintly playing it as he just goes through the little scene. Imagine being Air Supply. Oh, crap. And going, oh, we're in Ghostbusters. This is where our song is. Oh, you missed it. Anyway, side 2, to remember vinyl. Hot Night. Gonna be a hot night, which I believe was used in a party scene. Again, it's background music that also feeds the feelings of nostalgia in the album and the film. Magic. Possibly it will be my third favourite track off this, because we all remember the spooky bit at the end of the song when all the ghosts escape. It's nice. It's got a nice build-up to it. It's almost, I'm not going to say it's Vienna-esque by Ultravox, but it's got a tinge of that to it. And then the last 2 tracks, the tracks of note are the main title theme and Dana's theme by Elmer Bernstein. So he wasn't a big fan of doing music for comedy films, and he didn't really want to do Ghostbusters as a score, but the score became, brilliant. We can get into another video, I guess, the score, but the 2 tracks are on here, kind of feel like they pad the album out somewhat, and there was a re-release of this another time, maybe the 90s, 2000s, that put Disco Inferno on, which wasn't on previous versions of this soundtrack. And then at the end, instrumental version of Ghostbusters, so you can all sing along at home. Ultimately, this was the soundtrack of my youth. It was one of the first albums I ever bought. I remember getting it on CD, being very excited. Very, very excited to have all the music from the film and the pictures, because, I don't believe I had the VHS of that bit, so I was reading books and the Ladybird book, or whatever it is, the tiny little square one, to re-energise my memory of the film. So the soundtrack was quite important to it, and I think the soundtrack is very, very successful. It's why it's often in print, because I just think there's a lot of people buying it. And also every now and then they'll release a white one with a marshmallow scent or a glow-in-the-dark version. Things that I can't get hold of are ultra rare and super expensive. If you want to get the cassette and the album, there are your codes. So we fast forward to 1989 and Ghostbusters 2 comes out. And obviously when the first one came out, Ghostbusters was their leading single. For whatever reason, Dan Aykroyd was really into that new Jack City funk rap, rhythm and blues, soul sound that was going on in the late 80s. Bobby Brown particularly, which is obviously where the song came from for Ghostbusters 2. Now, as a kid, I remember seeing this in a shop, Ghostbusters 2, the soundtrack, and not having enough money and not buying it. And then I can't remember what happened, but it was not there the next week. And none of the music stores had it there after that. And I couldn't get hold of it for love nor money for years. And then, thanks to the internet and eBay and all this stuff, now I've got like 18 versions of this bloody thing. So, On Our Own, the first song from this, Bobby Brown. Now, I'm not a huge fan of this soundtrack. Not many of the songs on it resonate with me in the same way the songs on the first film resonate with me. But if we go quickly through them, On Our Own, it's a fine song. It is the song tied to that movie. When you hear it, it conjures memories of the movie and vice versa. So I'm fine with that. And it's a fine Bobby Brown. I mean, that's the soundtrack, somewhat really fine. It's fine. Supernatural by New Edition, fine. Promised Land by JT Taylor, fine. We're Back by Bobby Brown, his second on this. Not quite Prince's Batman, but almost there. We're Back by Bobby Brown. I would have maybe used that as the song, not On Our Own, but maybe Bobby Brown was more into On Our Own. It just feels like, On Our Own's a song he slapped that rap on, whereas We're Back seems to be more tied into the themes of the film. Spirit, some people fear it, some people hear it. Spirit, some people just don't get near it. That's Dougie Fresh and the Fresh Crew. Get Fresh Crew. Not Get Fresh as in the morning Saturday TV show in the UK for kids. So it's fine. It's fine. It's all a bit middle of the road. That's the problem. There's not a massive change of styles and tones like the first soundtrack does. This one all kind of feels samey until you get to side B, when you get Run DMC's Ghostbusters rap, which is fine. Again, I'm surprised they didn't go with that. But it's used in the film quite successfully, and everyone knows it from the montage scene, so I think that's fine. Flesh and Blood by Oingo Boingo. Danny Elfman, lead singer. It's a strange song. Again, used fleetingly in the film. Love as a Cannibal, Elton John. I'm going to go ahead and say it right now. I can't remember where this appears in the film, if at all. I'm not even sure if Elton John remembers recording Love as a Cannibal. It's a fine late 80s Elton John song. I'm quite fond of it. Don't know what it's doing on here. Flip City, Glenn Frey, who did The Heat Is On for Beverly Hills Cop. He did his Magic. So if you can compare Magic and Flip City, I think you'll realise that Flip City isn't the best, but it does have that magic woo moment or two, which helps the film more than it helps the song. And then finally, Higher and Higher by Howard Huntbury. So Higher and Higher is used twice in the film, once for the toaster, and the version in the soundtrack is what they used to make the Statue of Liberty come to life. It reeks of that unnecessarily reproduced late 80s, early 90s sound. So it's nice that it's on it, but I don't know why they didn't go with the original, considering Dan Aykroyd loves his music. So Ghostbusters 2 is a soundtrack. It's nice, it's pleasant, and it's fine, but it doesn't seem to come out of the gate as strong as the other vinyl. What should we do next? Let's end with this one. Ghostbusters 2016. Now, just straight off the bat, I love the artwork for it. I like that graffiti style. I'm not going to take it out of its bag. You're just going to have to deal with the shimmer and shine. But I really like that logo look. And weirdly, even though I'm not a huge fan of the songs on this soundtrack, it does work with the movie in the same way the original movie works. And I think the songs on this are more tied in to the movie. So let's go quickly through it. You've got Walk the Moon's Ghostbusters, which, as we'll explain later, should have been the version they used to promote the film. Walk the Moon had just had a big hit. It would have been really successful to have them do their Ghostbusters theme, and it's a really nice cover of the original. Far better than the one we'll come to in a minute. Saw It Coming by G-Eazy-N-X Jeremiah. It's a fine song that I honestly can't remember off the top of my head. Ellie King, Good Girls. I like this a lot. This was almost the B single release for Ghostbusters 2016. I like this song a lot. And she's got a famous dad. Look it up and you'll go, really? And I'll say, yeah, odd. Zayn from that band, One Direction, with the song called Who, which I not only don't like, don't remember right now, don't remember if it's even in the film, unless it's at the end segment of the credits, like it might be. Ghostbusters by Pentatonics, which is the the kind of chorus group, barbershop-y thing sound. Again, nice, lovely version. Probably the problem with this soundtrack is that there are probably too many versions of the Ghostbusters theme. They're all nice, but if you're going to be ruthless, you might want to get rid of one or two. Ghoster by Wolf Alice, I don't remember it. But get into side B and we get Ghostbusters I'm Not Afraid by Fall Out Boy featuring Missy Elliott. Oh, it's awful. When I first heard it, I didn't care all that much. But then after re-listen, you just think, I would have gone with Walk the Moon. I know they tried to do something different, but that song really affects the scene when it's used, and I would have just used the original theme if you're going to use it at all and save for the end credits. But whatever, I don't make movies. Whoever thought Fallout Boy would want to make a Ghostbusters theme, I don't know, but it is, and it exists, and that makes part of the album a curio. Get Ghost by Mark Ronson, which is a storming track, and again, if they would have chosen any song other than Fallout Boy to release, Get Ghost would have been great. Mark Ronson, popular name, down with the kids, and it uses a riff from the Ghostbusters song quite successfully. I would have used that. Why not use that? Party Up by DMX, which is a great song. Absolutely fantastic song and used really well in the film. So again, like some of the songs in the original soundtrack, the song and the film are tied in a way that creates a moment, which is what a successful soundtrack and film should do. It should work not just as a collection of songs so people write off the success of a potential movie, but actually have the song of the movie reasonably intertwined. Rhythm of the Night by DeBarge, same thing, using a scene really well. Fits the film, fits the soundtrack, love it. American Woman, why, I don't know why you would, but it's on here by a band I don't know, called Maddie Magnolias. Want Some More by Beasts of Mayhem. I'm not a huge fan of the song, but it's in the film, and at least it's in the film, it's diegetic to the movie, so it kind of works. The joke in the scenes work, but I don't know if the editing and the direction quite makes that whole capture the first ghost. What was it called? Oh, I shouldn't have brought it up now. It was literally on the tip of my brain, the name of that ghost. Havoc or something, or Mayhem. Either way, it's fine. It's on the soundtrack. And then finally, Ghostbusters by Ray Parker Jr., which I believe is a little bit of a remix, a remaster. It's when you listen to it and you listen to the original soundtrack, you do notice certain little things that are different. It's hard to put my finger on, but give them a go. Something to do when you're listening to the soundtracks, if you do indeed do that. Oh, here's a little asterisk. Does not appear in the film. So what does not appear in the film? Who? Zayn. And Pentatonic's Ghostbusters. And Ghosted by Wolf Alice. Well, that explains all my previous points. So 3 songs, not in the film, but on the soundtrack. Although, I guess adding it to the soundtrack's odd. Anyway, I like the soundtrack, and I like Ghostbusters 2016, and I don't care about your comments below about trying to prove me wrong on my taste. I shouldn't have to have this conversation about every single thing I like. Anyway, let's get on to the point of this whole video, which is my book. So, if you want to help me support my book, which is about my love of Ghostbusters, Ghostbusters the movies, fandom, my experiences as a fan, growing up as a Ghostbuster, mental health, depression and suicide, and ghost hunting, and my life as a ghost hunter, it's all there in this book. That isn't real. This isn't real. This is someone else's book. There's just a jacket on, but it looks nice, doesn't it? If you want to help support this, I'm nearly there, and I'd love you to help me make this book. So go to unbound.com/books/ghosts and you can donate what you like there. But guess what? Because Ghostbusters, the song, is celebrating its birthday 11th of August, for 1 week only, we're going to do a deal. So I'm going to give you 10% off any donation you make, any patronage you make to this book up to £100. And if you go to the website I just mentioned and you donate, you can put in a code when you decide to donate, and that is NOGHOST10. NOGHOST10. Link on the end of this video, or in the description box. And you'll get 10% off on valid pledges up to £100. Starts on the 11th and ends on midnight, the 18th of August 2020, which means even though this little video is going to be up on YouTube forever, those little dates and this whole appeal will date this video considerably. Thank you for spending more time with me talking about Ghostbusters. I'm trying to save the rest of it for the book. Tatty bye. Oh, I shouldn't have said tatty bye. Bye.